And then you released a statement in which you claimed you would be donating the entire $7 million to charity, right?
That's correct. $7 million in total was donated.
I shouldn't have to have donated it in an effort to be believed. I shouldn't have had to earmark the entirety of that in order to have.
You shouldn't have, but once you said you did.
Right, which is where it was intended to go.
What's up guys, Enigma here, and I'm a qualified body language analyst, and today we're going to be looking at the numerous times Amber Heard lied about donating $7 million to charity to make herself look good. Karen Heard lied to the court and committed perjury when she said that she had donated this money, when in fact she had donated absolutely nothing. She naturally blames this on Johnny, saying that he sued her so she couldn't pay the money, despite having 7 months to donate that money before Johnny started suing her. She then demands that Johnny pay her the money first, when he was literally about to donate that money to her chosen charities in her name. She then tries to lie to the interviewer and to us, making us look like the ones who don't understand what the word donate means. You really couldn't make this up. Anyway, let's take a look at her really interesting body language.
And actually were all kinds of accusations flying your way when you said all this, and then there was a divorce settlement, you got $7 million. People were saying this is all about the money, but then you did something that twisted that whole argument. What did you do with that money?
$7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU.
More power to you, because that's something that I've never heard of.
I wanted nothing.
Well, Emma, are you happy?
Yes.
Okay, I'm
absolutely.
happy to hear that. Yeah.
Take a look closely here. When the TV host is mentioning her donating the money to charity, pay close attention to her face. She bites her lip and looks away, only to then open her mouth. She also smiles whilst doing this. This is very revealing, as it shows that she absolutely loves the attention and praise from this guy. She bites her own mouth, which is a common behavior associated with someone who wants to speak. The moment it's mentioned, she wants to butt in and talk. She then looks away in response to not being able to speak. She then keeps her mouth open, almost as if she's whispering again, as she so desperately wants to talk about it. Now, you could mistake this for someone who's excited to talk about the charity and the good work they do, but we know that as of this moment, she has given nothing to her charities. This is just her happy and keen to take the spotlight and attention. When she actually ends up speaking, she almost downplays it very differently to what her body language was displaying before. This is her downplaying the appraisal of others. She's faking modesty to look good, and it's super obvious. It's why she looks away from the host when saying it. She's trying to look like she's super modest.
You settled your divorce from Mr. Depp in August of 2016, right?
That sounds right.
And in connection with that settlement, you received $7 million from Mr. Depp, true?
That's correct.
And then
6.8 exactly.
Your settlement amount was $7 million.
That's correct.
And then you released a statement in which you claimed you would be donating the entire $7 million to charity, right?
That's correct.
You stated you would be donating half of the $7 million to the ACLU.
That's correct.
And you would be donating the other half to Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
That is correct.
And you also stated, with respect to the $7 million divorce settlement, that money played no role except for the extent that you could donate the money to charity.
Yes, that's correct.
If we could please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1259. This is an article entitled Amber Heard Donates Johnny Depp Divorce Settlement to Charity. Read her statement in full. Is that correct?
That's what the title says, yes.
Directing your attention to the portion on the second page where it says, quote, read the statement below. Is that the statement you released, Ms. Heard?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I move to admit the statement and the article as redacted.
Objection, hearsay.
It's her statement.
This is not her statement. This is
She just testified, Your Honor, that it's her statement.
Other than Johnny's lawyers, the best defense for Johnny Depp is Amber Heard's lawyers. They're so incompetent. Amber in this clip literally admits to pledging to donate the money to charity and confirms that she actually received the entirety of the money, the $7 million. She has it just sitting in her bank account right now. And she pledged it to the charities many, many months ago. So why hasn't it been donated? The body language here is super interesting. Notice how she doesn't at all look at Johnny's lawyer when confirming that she wrote the article. This is called a distancing behavior, and it's basically the brain's way of protecting us from a stressor. Amber is feeling threatened by the lawyer bringing this up, as she knows that it will make her look bad, so her brain forces her to avoid eye contact as to be non-confrontational. She is afraid, and the way we deal with that is to either confront the stressor or avoid the stressor entirely. Eye contact is super confrontational, so she avoids it here, showing that she's afraid. She knows that this makes her look really bad. Also, why is Amber doing a Chairman Mao cosplay all of a sudden? Anyone else wonder that?
May I see the full?
Everything else is redacted.
Okay, then I have no objection.
All right, 1259 in evidence as redacted.
The statement reads, as described in the restraining order and divorce settlement, money played no role for me personally and never has, except to the extent that I could donate it to charity, and in doing so, hopefully help those less able to defend themselves. As reported in the media, the amount received in the divorce was $7 million, and $7 million is being donated. This is over and above any funds that I have given away in the past and will continue to give away in the future. Did I read that correctly?
That is correct. I don't remember that last line, but I have no, it doesn't stand out to me as wrong.
There's nothing inaccurate in the statement.
Not that I recognize, no.
Mr. Depp donated $100,000 of the divorce settlement directly to the ACLU, is that right?
Right at the beginning of the divorce settlement, he donated $100,000 to each charity on my behalf or towards my contribution.
So $100,000
To each.
to the ACLU.
And to the Children's Hospital.
And in response, you publicly demanded that Mr. Depp pay the divorce settlement directly to you instead of the charities, right?
That was always the agreement, actually, is for him to pay me directly. It was not his money as per the settlement agreement to give away and reap a tax benefit from. I said if he wants to do it and give to charity all of a sudden, then he should pay the correct amount and not try to get a big tax break for it. So effectively for his tax bracket, he should be paying double that amount to the charity directly. And if he wanted to pay the charity directly, he could. He could do that, was fine with me, but he would need to pay the adjusted amount.
So basically, Amber's doing this to spite Johnny. Johnny was happy to donate the full amount to the charities, but Amber wanted the money in her account. So she uses the tax break that Johnny would get as an excuse to demand him to pay double. Or just send her the whole money so that she gets the tax break. She pays half. Either she's trying to punish Johnny, or she's just trying to get her hands on the money. But why? Well, she wants to be the one to donate the money and get the clout from it, because if Johnny gives it, then it looks like he's being a good person. So Amber stops Johnny from giving the money to charity, and instead demands to pay it to her over time for her to donate. So Johnny gives the money as demanded, and she donates nothing. Zilch. This is the type of person we're dealing with here. Amber wanted to donate the $7 million so that she could get a $3.5 million tax break. So she looks like she's donating $7 million, but actually she's only donating $3.5 and keeps $3.5 to herself.
Ultimately, the rest of the $7 million divorce settlement was paid directly to you, right?
Over time, yes.
And Mr. Depp didn't end up paying the rest of the $7 million divorce settlement directly to the charities you identified.
That is correct. He paid the installments to me.
You stopped that from happening, didn't you?
I don't understand what your question is. I'm sorry.
You stopped Mr. Depp from paying the charities that you had named directly.
That is incorrect. I said if you want to pay the charities directly, pay the adjusted amount, or pay as per our agreement in the settlement or in the divorce, as per our agreement.
You also
And he
publicly
chose to do the former, not the latter. I mean, the other way around.
You also publicly stated that the $7 million divorce settlement should be paid to the charities immediately in full, right?
If he wanted to pay it in the way that he was suggesting, yes.
And you said publicly that the payments to the charities should not be drawn out over many years, right?
I said that I don't recall the exact words that I used, but basically that he shouldn't use this as a novel interest in getting a tax break, that if he wanted to do that and not pay me the settlement, that was fine, but he would have to pay the adjusted amount and not make it, you know, a commitment he would not fulfill or try to avoid in some other way.
And that's because you wanted the entire world to think that you were donating every penny of the $7 million divorce settlement as soon as you received it from Mr. Depp. Isn't that right?
No, I was going to be receiving it in installments, and I would be paying in installments the donations.
So Amber, this is even worse for you because you say here you wanted to pay in installments, yet you had 7 months to pay, even $1, and yet you paid nothing, not even a single installment. Was this not a priority for you? I mean, that's a lot of money to just have sitting around in your bank account. You have the full amount in your bank account ready to be donated. One thing Amber does through this whole trial is to talk directly to the jury. This is a manipulation tactic as she's trying to build rapport with them. She makes a deliberate attempt to talk to them as opposed to the judge or lawyer, as she wants them to be on her side. She was actually called out for this by Johnny's lawyers at numerous points in the trial, as it's kind of rude not to look at the person who asks you the questions. Johnny, for example, always looks at the lawyer asking him the question, and occasionally to the audience, but very rarely to the jury. It's because Amber has something to prove, whereas Johnny doesn't.
Well, she had, when we initially had contact with Amber Heard in 2016, she indicated her desire to pay $3.5 million to the ACLU, and that was, and these were amounts that were in relation to that, her having expressed that that's what she wanted to pay to the ACLU.
So it's fair to say that she has not donated $3.5 million as of today to the ACLU, true?
True.
When you say that Mr. Depp, our client, donated $100,000 to be credited toward Amber Heard, did the ACLU in fact credit that $100,000 toward the $3.5 million Ms. Heard promised to donate to the ACLU?
We do credit it.
Did Ms. Heard direct you to credit it to her account, as it were?
We asked Ms. Heard if we should credit it, and she said that we should.
Again, right as the lawyer points out that Amber never donated the money, she instantly does a distancing behavior. She looks away in an attempt to seem non-confrontational and submissive to the person asking the questions. This is her trying to look innocent and non-threatening, but in a civilized situation such as this, it just makes her look guilty. The only fear Amber could have at this point was if she was found out to be lying. Why is she displaying the signs of fear? Why? Because her lies are being exposed, of course.
You had promised to donate the $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity. It was revealed at trial that you haven't done so yet. However, they played a tape where you stayed on the air that you have donated it. Do you think that raised questions as to your credibility with the jury?
I made a pledge, and that pledge is made over time by its nature. And
when you say I donated, you know that everybody thinks that you've donated it, not that you've pledged it. So for the jurors sitting there, do you think they felt like that was you getting caught in a lie?
As Amber is trying desperately to think of a logical reason as to explain why she had the money but didn't donate it, she does what's called a rapid eye movement. Now, we exhibit rapid eye movement when our brain feels as though it's in danger and gets panicked. The eyes move more rapidly to take in as much information as possible about the surroundings in order to make better survival decisions. This is programmed into our more primitive brain, which is why we do it even though we know we're not really in any physical danger. She does it showing that she's afraid. She knows that she said she donated it and knows she has to find an excuse. She then distances with her head when the interviewer says everyone thinks you donated it. This is, again, because she's afraid of the interviewer. She knows what she's saying is true and that she's in the wrong, which is why she gives off this behavior.
I don't know, because so much of the, I feel like so much of the trial was meant to cast aspersions on who I am as a human, my credibility, to call me a liar in every way you can. And
That was the trial. It was a credibility contest.
and
That was it.
This is another one of the examples where if you pull back and you think about it, I shouldn't have to have donated it in an effort to be believed. I shouldn't have had to earmark the entirety of that in order to have.
You shouldn't have, but once you said you did.
Right, which is where it was intended to go.
Amber then does rapid head movement, constantly when she talks out of her ass. She's panicked and is desperately trying to come up with a logical excuse to save face. She ends up just looking like an absolute idiot. Rapid head movement and eye movement are closely linked, and I think she's afraid here, so she looks around using her head as well as her eyes out of fear. People also do rapid movements of their head and eyes as a way to find people who support them. Now, we are social animals, and when in need, we look to others for help. This could be her more primitive side of the brain, trying to seek out allies around her. Overall, this is just a super strange interview. I have no idea why she went on it without preparing for these basic questions. Did she really not think that they'd be asked? She's a proven liar and committed perjury in court, and in my opinion should be in jail, and all of her body language screams guilt. But of course, she's famous, so she gets off. So thank you so much for watching the video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.